Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over the market and let's go over Tesla. So if you enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button as it does help a lot. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. The link is down below if you're interested for $3 a month, where I share intraday thoughts, posts, updates, technical analysis, options flow, etc. throughout the day as is trading. Again, in the link in the description below for $3 a month. I think I said all the other things, right? I'm not a financial advisor. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, whatever. Let's jump into it. Tesla closing the day down once again, down about 0.5% on the day, closing at just shy of $188 per share, which compared to the market is obviously a pretty significant underperformance. But on the bright side, we did recoup quite a lot of the losses. We were down about 3% once again on the day. On news of the jobs report data, I believe it was, that came out today. And on top of, I believe it was that. And on top of that, we also got a price reduction on Model Ys in Canada, which I'm sure did not help. And we ended up actually recovering the vast majority of that sell-off for the day. So, there's a lot of buyers coming in pretty much in the, mid to low 180s, clearly, because every time we come down, the rebounds off pretty nicely so far. So we'll see if that holds true or not. Now, let's talk about the overall picture. There's a few bullish things and a few bearish things. There's a lot of conflicting things here. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, nice volume today. Well, not amazing, but better than the last few days over here on a pretty nice reversal type of day, which is nice to see. That's a good thing to see, right? We also have some bullish divergences setting up. For instance, when the daily was all the way down, pretty much at the lows at about $182 per share, we were well above the low down over here. So we were setting up a nice looking bullish divergence, right? It's a medium strength bullish divergence in the sense that a medium strength bullish divergence is when the stock comes back down to pretty much the same level, but the RSI is making a higher low. That's medium strength. If the stock instead comes down and makes a lower low, so for instance, if we come down to about, let's say 177 and the RSI is still making a higher low, that's a strong bullish divergence. So keep that in mind, but still nonetheless, pretty good to see regardless. Another thing to look at is, of course, going to be the weekly quickly here, right? The weekly is setting up a bullish Harami reversal pattern, which is essentially an inside day candle, kind of similar to what we actually had. I can't remember which one it was. It was one of these two candles right here, right? Obviously, this was a red candle, and on the weekly, we have a green candle or white, green, whatever candle, which is better. But the point is the fact that you have a massive sell-off, you have a massive, red candle, and then you have an inside day candle, ideally a green candle that pretty much is encompassed by the previous massive red candle, and then usually that's a sign of a reversal to follow, which is what we see pretty much right here as we traded pretty much exactly within this massive weekly red candle, obviously thanks to earnings. So this is pretty substantial weekly candle, but this is showing that there is some strength coming in here, and this is showing some potential signs of a reversal. We need to see how, of course, next week especially opens up ideally, but it is potentially a promising sign, and we'll see if it actually holds true. That's number one. In my opinion, those are the main bullish things, right? Obviously, the usual we have on the daily. Again, nice reversal. Not the best looking hammer candle. It's an okay looking hammer candle because the candle width is a little too big relative to the wick underneath. So it's a very mediocre looking hammer candle. I wouldn't put too much weight into it, but overall, it does show that the bulls absolutely won the day today with a beautiful reversal after hitting some substantial lows. So for instance, from the low to the close, we ended up reversing about just over 3%, which is pretty good. So the bulls definitely came out ahead on that, in my opinion. Now, the next thing to look at is, of course, well, we still are within this downtrend. Every time we get close to this downtrend, some piece of news always comes out. Something always comes out, whether it's a price reduction, whether it's Elon doing something, whether it's even just economics related. Always something comes out and pushes us back down once again and kind of continues the downtrend. We're not really downtrending, but it's also preventing us from breaking out. We're just going sideways. Every time we get close to it, something else pushes us down, right? Earnings here got up all the way over here. Then I think that was it was the Elon thing with the court ruling over his compensation package, right? And we, of course, gapped down again, and now we're pretty much right back at it once again. The level to break for instance, Monday is pretty much the high of today. Really, if we can go higher than the high of today, 188 to be safe, let's say, we are officially out of this downtrend, at least theoretically, right? And then the level above that will be to break this support that was back here that now turned resistance at about 195. A break above that should send us to pretty much the gap fill somewhere around that 209-ish level, give or take, of course. Those are the bullish things, right? And of course the MACD is starting to not actually be pointing down, it's starting to curl, so that's a good sign as well. So there are some bullish things as well, but there are some bearish things as well too. For instance, the overall picture in my opinion is still bearish. Even if we do get that dead cat bounce, I still think Tesla is looking overall pretty bearish, as we did break down below trend lines that I didn't want to break down below. below the yellow line, this massive green one up here, right? Those aren't good. We already broke below those. That's not ideal, right? We have, of course, pretty much every moving average well above us, right? We have the 100-day moving average, 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average well above us. We have the 21 EMA well above us, sitting at pretty much the gap fill right now of earnings, about 207. So there's a lot of work to do if we're able to like truly reverse this trend. Because right now, even if we do rocket, let's say next week or the week, excuse me, or the week after, let's say for the next 2 weeks, let's say we do reverse as an example. Let's say we play out this bullish Rami, and let's say we do come up to 220 even, right? As an example, of course, and retest a 200 moving average on the weekly. Let's say that does happen. That's still potentially a bearish thing, right? All that is just a dead cat bounce, and we can potentially just continue back down even further after that, right? Maybe finally then actually hit the mid 170s or something like that. That is a very real possibility. So just take that into account. That is important to understand. The bright side though is the fact that the volume this week, on this week candle, which is a green candle, a white green candle, is pretty decent. Obviously not as much as yesterday, but it's hard to match a week volume on a weekly candle that was the week of earnings. It's hard to match that because usually earnings, especially the day after earnings, tends to be exceptionally high volume. But with that being said, pretty decent volume, right? This one candle over here that is a green candle is higher volume in pretty much all of these 4 weekly candles right here, pretty much ever since the sell-off actually truly started all the way back up here at about $255-ish per share, right? You can see the volume was very low in the sell-off, and then today the volume is higher than all 4 of those on a nice little somewhat reversal-ish weekly candle. So that's good to see. So those are kind of the bullish and the bearish side. So I want to go over quickly to the options flow. Again, cheddar flow, link is down below if you're interested, 25% off if you want it for yourself. But there's one important thing to know. So there was a bunch of flow all over the place, of course, right? One, for instance, came in over here, 2 million call at the ask for March 15th, 205 call, great, pretty bullish. That's actually pretty darn good to see. Unfortunately, the party was kind of interrupted. We had a bunch of bearish flow come in over here, you can see. But the one that I want to kind of put your, oops, I just opened up my Spotify by accident. The one I want to put your attention to is this kind of golden one right here, 4.1 million put above the ask. That's important to note. So they wanted in on this ASAP. 180 strike for March 15th as well. A lot of March 15th coming in over here on the puts that just came in. All these bearish puts, all of them are March 15th pretty much, or almost all of them. Now, that's obviously pretty scary. That is pretty scary. I did close my cash secured put. I got 50%. I opened it up almost at the low of the day and closed it just now for 50% gain. So I'll take that. Nothing crazy, but it's not bad at all. When I saw this though, I did close it and I did follow this very, very lightly, like literally with like 0.5% of my portfolio. But nonetheless, I followed it just to see what happens. But pretty much about a few minutes before the market actually closed, something else came in that's interesting. So we have this pretty bearish 4.1 million put, 180 put, March 15th. Cool. Next we have something interesting are these two right here, the highest one and the third highest one right here, the 1.8 million and the 2.3 million. These right here you can see are sells. So essentially they are selling pretty much a cash secured put, if you will, right? It's a sell to open put. 170 strike, 185 strike. Cool. Interesting. But what makes this even more interesting, if you add up both of these premiums, it equals exactly 4.1 million. So again, I'm just guessing here, but I'm assuming it might be the same whale placing these trades, and it might be a bear credit spread, right? Because it equals the same amount. So they might be doing this to open up they might be buying a put so that they can sell to open these cash secured puts pretty much against that put as well. Believe those are called bear credit spreads. I don't really do them very often, so if someone's more familiar with it, please let me know down below what your thoughts on this are. But pretty interesting to note there to see what that happens. It is, as far as I'm aware, overall still a net bearish position, but it's a lot less bearish than just that straight up 4.1 million, assuming that's the same person. Just thought I'd mention that as kind of a extra pointer, if you will. But nonetheless, still bearish overall. So maybe they know something. Maybe something's coming over the weekend. Who knows for sure? But if that wasn't there and I was looking strictly at technicals, it does look like it's ready to reverse. All we need to do is get a little bit of an extra push. Again, break above pretty much 188 at least on Monday, ideally. And I think the push can start happening. But with that being said, this is kind of like a caution flag over here that I'm kind of like, did they know something? Is something over the weekend going to come out or happen or whatever? Who knows? We'll see if that actually happens or not. But that's kind of the main way I'm looking at it right now. And if we do break out, I will re-enter on the shares because I did sell some shares at a bit of a loss pretty much yesterday, pretty much at the price actually we closed, slightly higher actually, I closed it. But I will enter if we do get a more confirmed breakout, which I think we will. It's just those specific options that are kind of making me scratch my head a little bit and go like, that's interesting. Why did this come out right now, pretty much in the last 5 minutes of the market? And that's very interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. But with all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Have a great weekend. And hang in strong. Tesla has been extremely disappointing lately. I do think it'll turn around relatively soon, but it has been pretty painful for sure, especially when you see pretty much everything else rocketing, like Meta 20% is unbelievable. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow or Monday. Peace.